Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Mastering Creative Problem Solving session. I'm really excited to be here with all of you. I just love the gift event. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ortal Green. I'm an award-winning author, speaker, designer, creative, mom, wife, and definitely nature lover. And I'm helping you find your purpose and turn it into an online business so you can drive the positive change you want to see in the world. So today's session is all about ideas, and I'm curious to know, what do you think? Where do ideas come from? And you can use the chat to share your answers, and this is a safe environment, right? So don't hesitate. There are no silly answers. All the answers are beautiful. So let me know in the chat, what do you think? Where do ideas come from? Anyone wants to share their thoughts on it? Okay, so I get many answers when I ask this question. And the most popular answers are from ideas coming from personal experiences and observations, inspiration from others, looking at the clouds, creativity and imagination, having a shower, collaboration and brainstorming, dreams, taking a walk, and listening to music. All these answers are correct and are brilliant. A lot of these answers are the moments where the ideas are bubbling up in our mind, and suddenly we think, wow, I have an idea, I know what to do. These are like kind of the aha moments that we have. But you should know that something happens before that. In order for these ideas to bubble up, something very exciting needs to happen. Actually, in your brain, you have something very, very special. You all have a very secret ideas factory in your mind. Isn't this fantastic? All these beautiful things are happening in your mind. And this factory, there is a need to feed that machine with a resource, with something that will help your brain come up with ideas. Like any other factory, there need to be a special ingredient that you need to feed that machine in order to generate innovative ideas. If we look at other factories, for example, a chocolate factory, what is that secret ingredient that we must have in order to create chocolate? Anyone knows? What is it? What is the special resource that we need to feed that chocolate factory in order to have chocolate? So these are the cocoa beans that we all love. And what do you think we need to feed the machine in the Lego factory? The Lego that we all love to play with and enjoy building stuff with. What do you think is that special ingredient that goes into that Lego machine? You can share your thoughts in the chat, by the way, throughout this conversation, this session. Just feel free to share your thoughts. So the Lego factory has to have plastic in order to create the Lego that we enjoy playing with. So this session is all about discovering what is the special ingredient that you need to have in order to feed your secret ideas factory. And we'll explore that by looking at different stories. So the first story I want to share with you is about Yoshayaki Shiraishi, and I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing the name, so I apologize. And this person, he used to have a sushi restaurant. He was a sushi restaurant owner in Japan, but the problem he had was that his restaurant was quite small. So he couldn't really have staff members there helping him serve the customers and run the restaurant. And he really struggled to do everything on his own. He had to prepare the food and also serve the customers. And he just couldn't do it on his own. And he kept thinking, how am I solving this problem? How can I operate this restaurant while it's very small and I can't have more staff members here? And I also can't do everything on my own. What can I do to solve this problem? So he kept thinking about this problem in his mind and looking for solutions, for ideas on how he can solve this problem. And then one day he visited a factory and he noticed a conveyor belt for bottles in that factory. And that was just fascinating for him. He looked at this conveyor belt and thought to himself, this is a great idea. This is a wonderful way to move the bottles throughout the factory without the need to have humans do it. It just happens automatically on the conveyor belt. And he also thought that the conveyor belt is great because it doesn't have to be something big. It can be something relatively small that moves the bottles throughout the factory. So he kept thinking, how am I going to use this idea to solve my problem? How can I adapt this idea to solve the problem that I have in my restaurant? And he kept thinking about it. And then for the next 5 years, he spent his time developing the conveyor belt sushi. If you love Japanese food and you've been to sushi restaurants, so maybe you encounter this sushi train, which is fantastic. It's a great innovation. And so this is how he solved his problem. This is how he was able to operate his restaurant without having more staff member there. He would prepare the food, put it on the conveyor belt, and then the customers will enter the restaurant, choose whatever food they want to eat that, and then pay for what they ate. And this was a fantastic solution for his problem. So what we need to understand is that when we are looking to solve a problem, we need to look at the solution that already exists around us and think about, how can I use existing inventions, ideas, solutions to solve my own problem? How can I take a solution that someone else has created and adapt it to my own problem, to my own business, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel? And we also can look into technology. Luckily for us, we live at a time where we have such an amazing technology, right? And every day it gets better and better. It's just improving in an unbelievable pace. And so one of the things we can think of when we have a problem that we need to solve is how we can leverage on the power of the technology that we have to create a solution to a problem. And one example for that is drones. Drones were created for a specific purpose. And once they were published and they were available for the public to purchase, people started to look into drones and think about, how can I use it to solve my own problem? How can I use drones in my own business to make my business more efficient, better? And so drones have been adopted in many different areas. For example, drones are used today to clean skyscraper windows. They're used to plant trees. They're used to help protect endangered species. They're used to rescue people, provide first aid. They're used in agriculture. They're used in so many different ways. And every day people find new ways to use drones to solve their problem and help their business operate more efficiently and better. And so I want us to do a fun exercise now. I want you all to think, what else we can do with drones? How else we can use them? And I invite you to come up with as many ideas as you can. I even encourage you to come up with crazy ideas and know that this is a safe environment. There are no silly ideas. All of your ideas are wonderful. So if you can share in the chat your ideas as to how we can use drones, what else we can do with them to solve problems, to create a better business. What do you think? Oh, I have some idea. Take care of migrating animals. Fantastic. This is a great idea. Anyone else? Do you want to share any other ideas? There are many, many different ways to use drones, sever roads, and find problems. Fantastic. Yes. And you know what? Some roads are in very rural areas, which makes it difficult to understand what's going on there. So having drones actually makes it easier to do so. To support resources, play games. I love it. Use drones to play games. Fantastic. We can create a game using drones, right? Fantastic. So there are many ideas. You can come up with endless ideas as to how you can use drones in many different ways. And if you have a problem that you currently think of about and need to find a solution for, you can look into technology and drones and think about whether you can harness that amazing power to solve your problem. Okay, now there's another amazing thing you can use. Apart from looking at technology and looking at solution elsewhere in other industries, there is another powerful way for us to come up with incredible ideas to solve a problem. And this is by exploring nature's incredible designs to find a solution to our problems. This is actually called biomimicry, and it is used around the globe to find an amazing solution to some very difficult problems, actually, that we are facing as humans. And I'm going to share with you 2 stories now to show you how it is done, and so you'll get an idea on how you can do it as well with your own problems. So the first story is about George de Mestral, who is a Swiss engineer. George has a lovely dog, and every morning they go for a walk together. And one morning, George noticed that bar seeds got stuck on his dog's fur. And when he was pulling the seeds out, he explored them. He was curious to see what is going on. How does it get so stuck to his dog's fur? What's in the seeds? And then he noticed that the seeds have small hooks and loops that kind of help them get stuck really well to fur and other things. And George got really curious, and he thought, okay, that's an interesting design. How else can we use these hooks and loops to solve different problems? How can we leverage on this amazing nature design for our benefit? And this was the inspiration to create the Velcro that we all use on a daily basis. So George basically took the seeds and used the loops and hooks, the design of the loops and hoops, to create the Velcro. And another example of how we look into nature in order to find solutions to our problems is the bullet trains in Japan. So bullet trains in Japan were created in the early 1900s. They were very fast, which was brilliant, but they were super noisy, super loud, so much so that it wasn't really sustainable to have them. And they had to find something, a solution to that problem. So the Japanese kept thinking, how can we create a train which is both very fast, but also quiet? How can we create a quiet bullet train? And this is not an easy task, right? It's not an easy problem to solve. And they thought, what about looking at nature, looking at how this problem was solved in nature? And this is exactly what they've done. So they looked into the kingfisher bird. Anyone is familiar with the kingfisher bird? It's quite an amazing bird. This bird is very, very special, very unique. It's actually capture fish. This is what they eat. And the way they capture fish is amazing because they have to dive into the water very, very, very fast. And when they get into the water, they have to do it quite quietly without making a lot of disturbance and noise. Otherwise, the fish will run away, right? They won't be able to catch the fish if they'll enter the water with a huge splash. And so what's very unique about the kingfisher bird is that they're very, very fast and very, very quiet, which is exactly what the Japanese were looking to achieve. And so the Japanese were thinking, what makes the kingfisher bird able to do that? And they discovered that the shape of the kingfisher's beak and head is that it is what allows it to fly at high speed with minimal collision and noise. And I thought, this is brilliant. This is exactly what we need. So they took that design, and this is how they designed the new bullet trains in order to have a bullet train which is fast and also very quiet. And this is the new design of the bullet train. Amazing. Inspired by the kingfisher beak and head. So as I mentioned before, as you've seen in the story that I shared with you, we need to think how we can use existing ideas. We don't need to reinvent the wheel when we look for an innovative solution to problems. We can look at other ideas and think about how can I adapt this idea to my problem? How can I adapt it to my needs? And this can be looking at ideas from other industries and also looking at nature, amazing design, because there is so much we can learn from nature. It's just fantastic. And I want to touch on a very important point here, because there is a bit of confusion and in terms of the difference between invention and innovation, and people use them interchangeably, even though they're different concepts. So does anyone want to answer this question? What is the difference between invention and innovation? You can share in the chat. Again, it's a safe environment. So don't hold yourself back. You can share your thinking. There are no silly answers. It's just a point that it's important to understand, especially for us as innovators, as problem solvers. It's important that we'll understand what is the difference between these two concepts. Yes, anyone wants to give it a go?
There is someone that wants to, yes. Let us give him a chance to speak. There you go.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think invention and innovation is different. Invention is where you make something come to life, your idea like a light bulb. But innovation is you thinking of a invention that solve a problem in the real life. And
Okay.
I think that is the difference between invention and innovation.
That was a brilliant answer. Well done. I'm so proud of you. Also for being so brave and sharing your answer. Well done. This is just fantastic. So let's look deeper into what is the meaning of each one of these concepts and what is the difference between them. So invention, this involves creating something completely new, something that wasn't existing before. For example, the invention of the wheel, that's a completely new invention. It wasn't there before, or the first light bulb or the telephone. So it means creating something new from scratch. While innovation, on the other hand, is the process of improving existing ideas or solution, or finding new application for them, like we saw with the drones, for example. So what we need to understand is that to invent something new is very difficult, very challenging, and to innovate is much easier, much faster, much quicker. So most of what you see in the world, most of the new product or new services are basically innovation. It's taking existing ideas or solution and tweaking them, changing them, adapting them, or maybe mixing them with other ideas to create a new product or a new service. If we look at Apple, for example, Apple is a company that innovates. They're not inventing anything new. They innovate. What they do, they take different ideas from different industry, from different areas. They mix them together. They change them a bit, tweak them, and adapt them to what they want to create. And then they launch a new product. So you can achieve a lot by innovating. And when you have a problem that you need to solve, the first thing that I recommend for you to do is to think, how can I innovate? Don't rush into invention, because it's much, much harder, much more difficult. So if you're looking to find relatively quick solution, you can lean on other solution, other ideas that exist already to create the solution to your own problem. And as I mentioned, with Apple, for example, you can merge a few existing ideas together to create a new product or service. So let's see a couple of examples on how that works, merging different ideas together. So the first example, which is a very easy way to merge different ideas together, is related to the stroller. As you know, many parents rely on a stroller or a pram to take their babies and toddlers around. It's a great solution, but the problem started where parents spend a lot of time in the sun with a baby or toddler, and the baby was exposed to the sun for a long period of time, which can be quite dangerous. So what happened is that someone merged two ideas together. Someone merged the idea of a stroller with the idea of the umbrella and created an umbrella that is specifically designed to stroller and prams, as you can attach it to any stroller and pram and then create a shed for your baby or toddler. So this is an example of how you can solve a problem quite simply by merging two products together. It's very simple and easy. And now let's look at a more complex example of how you merge different products and ideas. So the smartwatch that some of you might be wearing is a great example of how you merge many different solutions into one tiny device, because that tiny device actually can measure your blood pressure, you can take calls with that device, you can send text and read emails, and you can monitor your sleep during the night, and you can know how many steps you done throughout the day, and so much more. So this tiny device, the smartwatch, is a great example of how you take many different solutions and merge them into one device. So you can easily actually develop your creative thinking by merging different and random solutions. And this is a great exercise you can do around your dinner table, for example. When you sit as a family, you can pick up 2 or 3 random products, things that seems unrelated to each other, and think as a family, what can we create if we merge them together? What kind of new product we can create? And go for crazy ideas, don't limit your thinking. The more crazy, the better, as that will help you develop your creative thinking. So now I invite you to do another fun activity. Let's see how we can merge existing products to come up with new solutions. And I want you to think about how you can merge light bulbs with a door. And this product might seem unrelated, but what ideas can you come up with in terms of creating a new product as a result of merging the two of them? And again, there are no silly ideas. It's a safe environment, so don't filter your ideas. And actually, the more crazy ideas you come up with, the better, as it means that your brain is working very creatively. So go for crazy ideas. Someone asked, may I speak again? And
Yes,
another idea is light bulb and door, no more dark attics. Yes. Yeah, so who wants to speak and share their idea?
there's let me allow what do you want to speak?
Fantastic.
I think if the lamp bulb store is when you open the door, everything will automatically light up for you. After you close it, it will darken.
Fantastic. I love it. This is brilliant, because when you enter your home when it's dark, it will be great if your whole home will be lit up. Fantastic. I love this idea. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so that brings us back to the question we started with, actually. At the beginning of the session, if you remember, I shared with you that you have an amazing secret ideas factory in your mind. And this factory, this special machine, it needs a special ingredients in order for you to come up with innovative solutions. So thinking about all the stories I've shared with you, what do you think is that one special ingredient, one special thing that you need to feed your idea machine for you to come up with creative and innovative ideas? Does anyone wants to share what they think? What is that special ingredient? So I see imagination. Anyone else? Fantastic. I love how you participate. This is fantastic.
my young is saying that also need, like you need to create. Yes.
Yes, you need to have a problem. That's right. You need to have a need. Fantastic. Okay, so based on what we've seen so far, the secret ingredient that we need in order to feed that machine so we can come up with innovative ideas is knowledge. Think about it. Think about innovation and how we need to be aware of other solutions, other ideas, how people solve problems elsewhere, and also how nature is designed, right? When the more knowledge we have, the more we can build on other people's ideas and other people's solution. So try to open your minds to other industry, not just to focus on the area you are working on. So, for example, explore how things are done in the real estate industry or in the car manufacturing industry, or how problems are solved in sport for athletes, or how food manufacturers are solving problems, or what's happening in education, how problems are solved in the education sector. So the more you open your mind, the more you're curious and you're learning and exploring the world around you, the more you'll be able to build on existing ideas and come up with your innovative solution to the problems that you're dealing with. So be curious about the world around you. And I just want to mention, if we're looking at life and really thinking about our journey in life, then we realize that in life we're moving from one problem for another, from one challenge to another, right? We can't avoid having problems and challenges, as this is life, right? And so the more creative we are in our thinking, the more we are capable to come up with innovative solutions to our problems, the more successful we would be. And therefore, one of the best gifts we can give our children and our students is to develop their ability to think creatively and to come up with innovative solutions to problems. And this is the reason why I wrote these two books, and someone was asking about it in the chat. So one of the books, Think Unique, Your Comprehensive Guide to Cultivating Tomorrow's Innovator Through Project-Based Learning, is designed specifically for educators. This is the book that guides you through the process, that give you the framework, all the strategies you need, all the tools, all the tips that you need in order to create an environment in your classroom where you nurture innovative thinking and creative problem solving. In this book, I share one of the projects that I facilitated in different schools, in different classrooms. You have a step-by-step guide that shows you exactly what to do in your classroom in order to create that amazing environment. And so when you follow that framework, you'll discover that your students become more creative, more innovative in their thinking, more resilient, more confident about their capabilities. And they learn also how to collaborate better with others. And one of the amazing things that happen as well is that students just love it. They love engaging in that type of learning. And so you'll find that even your students who are less engaged, who you struggle to get them involved in the classroom, suddenly they're enjoying doing this project. They really love this kind of learning and teaching. And the other book, Think Unique, Raising a Successful Innovative Child, is designed for parents who wish to develop their children creative thinking and innovative problem-solving skills to prepare them for success in the world. And this book shows you how to create such an environment in your home, how to approach parenting in a way that develop your children critical skills, such as innovative problem solving. And one of the beautiful things that happen when you follow that framework is that you'll find that your relationship with your child is also improving. It will increase the bond between you and the connection between you, because you're going to do lots of different interesting things together. And so your relationship will grow as well as a result, and your child will develop the amazing skill that they need to succeed today and in the future. So I think that brings us to time, and there's probably another session that needs to start quite soon. So unless anyone has any question, I mean, you're welcome to ask any questions.
I know. Are there any questions over there? Mayank was saying that the book is awesome.
Oh.
And I must confess that I loaned this book from a colleague back in 2022. I don't know when it was published. It was like right after the pandemics. I am a project-oriented learning educator, so I'm much into that. And I saw that on the shelf and said, like, let me flip it. But she stole it back, so I'm gonna buy my own copy. And I just say it's a yeah. She stole it because I actually was planning on keeping it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the value,
definitely.
I think it is about the value of the book. And Ortal, I must thank you so much for putting this together. For me, this is actually what these kids need. So yeah, the kids come in and share. There are other kids. I could recall before we started, I had to wake my son up because here in Nigeria it's actually the early hours. So he was enjoying the presentation, and then getting to listen to such insight would also give him the chance to come up and see what he can do. So I'm particularly interested. I'll catch you up on LinkedIn and see how I could get my own copy, just like Oturu has said, and then preserve it so that nobody gets it.
Yeah, it's really worth it. I was actually planning like also
Absolutely.
to get an electronic copy because that way it's mine.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. This is
Yeah.
just wonderful. I'm glad you're enjoying the book. And yes, let's connect on LinkedIn and continue
Absolutely.
the conversation. I would love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ortal. You're awesome as always. Thanks for your presentation. I loved it that you made it interactive. I broke a little bit the rules on the normal way we address this, but it was really worth it, and to have like those questions and answers from the participants here.
Yeah, fantastic. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and we'll be seeing you
Thank
around
you.
like as a global innovation field trip friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks.